They called him a monster. They called him Dracula. But what if the truth was far more complicated? What if Prince Vlad III, Vlad the Impaler, wasn't just the bloodthirsty villain from horror tales, but a complex, brutal, and brilliant figure shaped by a world on fire? Born in 1431 in Transylvania, Vlad III came into the world during one of the most violent centuries in European history. His father, Vlad II, was a member of the Order of the Dragon, secret Christian knightly order sworn to fight the Muslim Ottoman Turks. Because of this, he earned the title Dracula, meaning the dragon. His son would be known as Dracula, or son of the dragon. But ironically, the boy named Dracula would later become a demon in the eyes of many. At just 11 years old, Vlad's life changed forever. He and his younger brother Radu were taken as hostages by the Ottoman Empire, sent to the court of Sultan Murad II to guarantee their father's loyalty. What followed were years of psychological trauma, intense training, and indoctrination. Vlad was educated in warfare, politics, languages, and the Quran. He observed executions, tortures, and betrayals, learning firsthand the power of fear. While Radu eventually assimilated into Ottoman culture and even converted to Islam, Vlad grew bitter and vengeful, nurturing a hatred for his captors that would eventually explode in unspeakable ways. When his father and eldest brother were murdered by rival nobles and political enemies, Vlad returned to Wallachia with a single goal: to take back the throne and exact vengeance. He ascended to power for the first time in 1448, but it would take 2 more bloody campaigns before he truly secured his rule. And once he did, Vlad ruled with savage precision. The political landscape was a snake pit. Nobles were treacherous. The Ottomans demanded tribute. Neighboring kingdoms sought control over Wallachia's vital lands. Vlad responded with violence so shocking that even his allies were horrified. His preferred method of punishment? Impalement. Victims would be skewered on long wooden stakes and left to die slowly, their corpses on public display as a warning to others. It was painful, grotesque, and effective. Vlad wasn't cruel without reason. He believed fear was the only way to bring order to a land plagued by betrayal and corruption. He cracked down on crime, executed disloyal nobles, and even punished minor theft with death. And strangely enough, it worked. Legend says that under Vlad's rule, a golden goblet could be left in the town square, and no one would dare steal it. For the first time in generations, Wallachia had ordered bin if it was built on rivers of blood. But his true test came in 1462. Vlad refused to pay tribute to the Ottoman Sultan, Mehmed II, the same man who had conquered Constantinople. Enraged, Mehmed sent an army of over 100,000 soldiers into Wallachia. Vlad, with far fewer men, launched a brutal guerrilla war. He poisoned wells, burned fields, and ambushed supply lines. He even disguised himself as a Turkish soldier and infiltrated enemy camps at night, causing chaos from within. But it was his most terrifying act that sent shockwaves across Europe. As Mehmed approached Vlad's capital, he and his army came upon a sight so horrific that they halted in disbelief. Over 20,000 Ottoman corpses were impaled on tall wooden stakes outside the city of Forest of the Dead. This scene, known as the Forest of the Impaled, traumatized the invading army. The Sultan himself was said to be shaken by the sight. Vlad's message was clear: if you come for me, you will find only death. Despite his resistance, Vlad's enemies were many. The Ottomans eventually forced him into exile. He was captured by Hungarian forces and spent 12 years imprisoned. But even behind bars, his legend grew. Tales of his cruelty circulated across Europe. German pamphlets portrayed him as a bloodthirsty demon who boiled people alive and feasted among impaled corpses. These may have been exaggerations, propaganda used by political enemies, but they stuck. And centuries later, those legends would inspire the birth of a literary monster. In 1897, Irish author Bram Stoker published Dracula, a novel about an immortal vampire who drinks the blood of the living. Though Stoker likely knew little about the real Vlad, he borrowed the name and the chilling reputation. Thus, Prince Vlad of Wallachia became Count Dracula, the most famous vampire in history. But the real Vlad was not undead. He did not drink blood. Bled. He fought. Suffered. He was a man born into darkness, forced to become a weapon just to survive. To his people, he was not a monster, but a national protector. In a land ruled by lawlessness, he brought order through terror. He defended Christianity, challenged an empire, and refused to kneel. In 1476, Vlad returned to Wallachia for one final campaign. He regained the throne once again, but his reign was short-lived. Within months, he was ambushed and killed, his head sent to the Sultan in Constantinople, impaled as a trophy. The irony was as bitter as it was poetic. And so ended the life of Vlad the Impaler, but not his legend. To Romanians, he is still celebrated as a hero, Vlad Tepes, the defender of the land. To others, he is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and cruelty. But above all, he remains one of the most compelling figures in history, neither fully hero nor entirely villain. A man shaped by betrayal, forged in war, and remembered through myth. We look at Vlad today and wonder, was he mad, or was he necessary? Or is his methods evil or merely effective? Could you rule a nation surrounded by enemies without spilling rivers of blood? Vlad's life raises uncomfortable questions about justice, about leadership, about the cost of safety. And maybe that's why his story endures, because deep down, we're drawn to the shadows. We want to believe that monsters are only in books. But history teaches us that sometimes the truth is far more terrifying. And now I ask you, what do you believe? Was Vlad the Impaler truly a demon in human form, or a patriot doing whatever it took to protect his people? If this story gripped you, if you want to uncover more hidden truths buried beneath centuries of myth and propaganda, then do this. Like this video to show the algorithm that stories like this matter. Subscribe so you never miss a tale of forgotten power and ancient fury. Comment below, hero or monster, and tell me what you think. And remember, history doesn't just repeat itself. Sometimes it haunts us.